Welcome to another 31 Days of Horror 2018 video. Movie number 30. Almost done. Yes, we're almost done. Tomorrow is Halloween, so can I do it? I do not know. But we are going back to a world just recently explored. Yes, you had to have known when I showed you the DVD that we'd be doing the other one as well. Gamera versus Jiger. Yes. Also known as Gamera versus Monster X, or in, Japanese, the original title was Gamera Tai Daimaju Jiger, which I guess is Jiger is how you end up with Jiger. I don't know. Directed by Noriaki Yuasa again, like all the Gamera films of, well, not all, oh, well, whatever. Most of the Gamera films, this is the the 7th film in the Showa series of Gamera films. And if you didn't know who Gamera was, Gamera is this guy here. He is a flying giant space turtle with jets. Yeah. And in this one, like I said, it is versus Jiger. And Jiger is this thing here. It's kind of like a lizard, triceratopsy type thing. It's got horns and such. Now, this is an interesting creature. Essentially, the concept behind this film is it's Expo 70 in Japan, and they're bringing over an ancient statue from Western Island. You know how there's Easter Island. This is Western Island. And there's a statue there, so they pull up the statue to bring over to Expo 70, and what they didn't know was that statue was keeping Jiger at bay. So once the statue was removed, Jiger was unleashed. And so Jiger goes to Japan to get the statue, and of course Gamera, the savior of the people, the friend to all children, just, has to come out and fight Jiger. And like I was about to say, Jiger is an interesting one. He has the ability to suck in and propel, shoot out. Well, suck in, like a vacuum. In his hands, he would suck, he sucks a giant rock into his hand using, I guess, some circles or something on his hand, so like a vacuum, sucks it in, and then he can, like a blower, blow it out. So the rock gets in there and then it gets shot out. So that's an ability he has. He also has sort of like gills, and behind his gills he's able to have jet propulsions type things, I guess. Now this allows him to jump really high. It doesn't quite allow him to fly though. So Gamera does have that ability over him. Gamera can fly, Jiger cannot, but he can jump really, really high. The other thing is that Jiger has sound waves. Well, they use all sorts of weird mumbo jumbo trek talk, or whatever you want to call them. So it's yeah, it's essentially it if you can hear it, it will affect you. And so that's what he uses that against Gamera. He also uses he infects Gamera with, of all weird things, a spawn. So he puts a baby into Gamera, which essentially renders Gamera anemic and puts him out of the fight, and as a baby gestates inside him somewhere. That was weird. So, as always with these Gamera films, at least in the Showa series, it's very, very kid-friendly, very, very centric to kids. In fact, the kids are, almost side by side in terms of main characters. You got Gamera and you got the kids. So, instead of following like in Godzilla films and the kaiju Godzilla films where you follow usually adults, a scientist or somebody, this in the Gamera films you follow the kids, and these kids go out and do all sorts of crazy stuff. They have a submarine, and they do the very, very common Gamera movie thing where they like to shout his name a lot and tell him what to do and cheer him on, and that is quite a bit of the film. So whenever you're watching Gamera fight, you're always going to hear Gamera, Gambetta, Yatta, Gamera. You know, kids are cheering him on like, Gamera, don't do that, Gamera, get away, Gamera, do this, Gamera, do that. And apparently Gamera can hear him because he then does it, or you know, whatever. So yeah, this is more of the same. I actually really like this one in the series. It's not as hokey. Like, remember Gamera versus Giron, there were some like cannibal space alien type people, humanoids. Well, in Jiger, there's none of that. There's just two kaiju essentially battling it out, and that's what I want. That's what everybody wants. They want the kaiju just going at it, man. So in that sense, I kind of liked this one over the last one, but at the same time, it didn't have that crazy sci-fi thing going on that the last one did. So yeah. I don't know. Whatever. 2.5 out of 5. Watch the last one. It's the same type of deal. If you're into kaiju films, you're going to be into Gamera films. It is the lesser of the films in terms of, if you compare Godzilla to Gamera, Gamera is like down here, you know, down here, and Godzilla's up here. The quality is just different, right? This was released in order to try and capitalize on the Godzilla, you know, phenomenon, and it did very, very, very well. Obviously, I mean, there's tons of films. In fact, they've got 3 series. One is the original series. Another one is a trilogy that happened in the 90s. And then the last one is a single film that was released in the new millennium. So, yeah. Most of the Gamera films are like these ones. And it's cheesy looking. It's very fake, but I love the miniatures in kaiju films. I just love how they make these miniature sets, and the monsters fight and destroy them and fight each other, and you know, like, all just the special effects and stuff they do with the camera work, and how they make, you know, get the people to be involved in the scenes and stuff like that. I just love all that stuff. And for me, that's one of the best parts about kaiju film, outside of the kaiju, right? Like, kaiju fighting is awesome, but you know, having all that kind of stuff is what I love about these films. So for me, like, I like, these are like, if I could give it a 5, I'd give it a 5, but it's obviously not a 5 film. It's not even, you know, it's not even a great film. I mean, the story is kind of meh. I mean, that's the way kaiju films are. They aren't great stories. The acting is kind of meh. It's less than meh. It's kids yelling at Gamera for the most part. And of course the special effects here, the miniatures and stuff, aren't as good as, say, a Godzilla film of the same era. But at the same time, it's still cool. So, yeah. Like I said, 2.5 out of 5. I'm giving it an extra half a point because I like it so much. And in terms of recommendations, I can only go so far with that. You know who you are. You like Godzilla, check out Gamera. If you don't like Godzilla, you ain't gonna like Gamera. It's just that simple. Yeah. 1970, essentially a year after the last one I reviewed. So, not much has changed in terms of quality. Yeah. No, that's about it. That was it. The only thing I would say is it is kind of cool that the film, like I said, was dealing with the Expo 70, the World Fair in Japan in Osaka, but the film was actually filmed at the real Expo 70, so that's kind of cool. Trying to think. Not much else, really. I don't think there's... Little things to note about this film. It is the first time Gamera fights a female monster. It's also the second of 3 Gamera films to not be re-released and redubbed by Sandy Frank. That's about it. I can't really say there's not much else to say. It is what it is. It's a Gamera movie. Comment down below if you've watched any of the Gamera films, whether it be... I started with the 90s. I've seen the 90 ones. Actually watched them when they came out. And then now I'm kind of catching up with the original Gamera films. I have not watched the new Millennium one, the Brave or something like that, Gamera the Brave. But yeah, let me know if you're into kaiju films, into Godzilla, into Gamera, into anything of the sort. Comment down below. If you've seen the film, let me know what you thought of it, what you think of Gamera, the early, the later, the super now, most recent, anything relating to the subject. Love to hear from you. Comment down below. Always keep it spoiler free as much as possible. Is there going to be more 31 Days of Horror? Hopefully, because I've got one more to go. Stay tuned, more videos to come. Thanks for watching. Till next video, take care. Have a good one.